All right, welcome back to Buck What You Heard. My name is Gene. You can reach me at Buck What You Heard. You follow me, I will follow you back. And I'm joined by my co-host KB. How you doing, man?
Oh, fantastic.
Bro, this is the worst part of the year. We're getting so close to camp, so close to having stuff to talk about. We just aren't there yet. We're almost there. Oh, and I do want to shout out Bucks Report, and I also want to shout out Smack Apparel. Of course, I'm rocking the Welcome to Canton John Lynch t-shirt this time, just because John Lynch was my guy. I love that dude. Funny story. When I was working at Verizon, I got a stomach ache and I had to go home. And so on the way home, I had to stop by the babysitter and I picked my sons up. And we were on our way home and we drove by Pepin Root Stadium. Well, at that time, my stomach ache cleared up. I felt better. And so we went and watched camp at Pepin Root Stadium. And so I got a picture with John Lynch and my son right next to each other. And it was like so cool. And the next thing I know, ABC 9 was like in my face, asking me questions and stuff. And I was all freaking out because I'm like, man, my bosses are going to see this and I'm going to end up getting fired. I'm over here. I'm supposed to be at home sick and I'm over here at camp. So fortunately,
it wasn't 2021 because that would have been everywhere on social media. And that's when bad things happen.
Exactly. Tony Dale, what's going on? No, but John Lynch, I'm excited to have him in. We still have not done our Rondé Barber, Simeon Rice.
We will. It's my fault, everyone. Don't get mad at Gene. It's me.
No, let's say this. We're gonna do it before the regular season. Is it possible within the realm of possibility to do it before the Hall of Fame game? Is it a possibility? Or are we asking too much here?
It might be a little too much for me. You know how busy I've been.
Yeah, I know you're crazy, man. You're moving on up and stuff. And you got the moving on up world tour. And
how about this? If someone wants to write, or at least just give everything ready for me, and then I will do it.
Who would probably do that? Johnny Dean.
Johnny Dean, if you want to have everything basically prepared for me, or even write my speech for me, and then I'll Kennyfy it, then good to go. And I'll give you all the credit. Just I can't do the research right now. That's the only thing. Like I could talk off the dome, but that's not good enough for Rondé. He needs the 48 hours of cumulative time of research.
Yeah, because he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame right now too. So there is that. And I do get kind of defensive about that. So one of those things. So how's everything going? I mean, there's not a whole lot going on in the NFL right now. We're kind of grinding along here, and eventually we'll get there and get into camp. So anything exciting happening?
I mean, we've seen the ESPYs with Tom Brady and the Bucs taking home some hardware. Other than that, though, across the NFL, it's been a bad headline is pretty much the only thing that's really trending. I mean, we can talk names, but it's a bog down, and we don't want to be too negative on this podcast. I mean, people have their personal problems, and it's not us to air the dirty laundry.
Right. And if we are going to talk about that, I mean, you have to talk about, head injuries and, the effects of the NFL being such a violent game. And, you can go down the list. I mean, from Junior Seau to some of these other players that, have, felt the ill effects from, this being such a violent sport.
Well, and also for ones that aren't as even severe, just headlines and modern reporting, I'm going to put that in quotations. I mean, that you can just take anything from a headline and not have the reported facts in your articles that you can find on Twitter or on Google. So make sure you all just look at your sources, and for anything that's big, make sure make sure whoever you're reading is fact checking whatever they're doing.
Exactly. What do they call that? Yellow journalism, where it exploits. Definition is exploits, distorts, exaggerates the news to create sensations and attract readers.
Exactly. And that's what, I mean, think of ESPN, all those places included. All it is they want clicks.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
unless it's coming from a Schefter, Rappaport,
Yeah,
insert actual like people who have connections,
yeah.
I just won't believe until more facts are at least out there.
Yeah, and the cool thing is there are outlets out there that's what they do or how they portray what they're putting out that. So Donnie Sellers, what's going on? Yeah, I got the Super Bowl hat. Thank you Tampa Sports Bay for hooking me up. She was actually got it from Raymond James. So I'm very fortunate to have this. So
Never heard of her.
yeah.
Just kidding. One of these days, I need to do a Friday. One of these days, I'm not going to be able to do a Wednesday, and I'm just going to crash a Friday. I'm gonna Michael Plus y'all.
You're always welcome to come on Friday. That would be kind of cool. That would be different. So
Yeah, definitely different.
So are you a PlayStation guy or an Xbox guy or none?
So I grew up an Xbox guy. Halo changed everything for me.
Yeah.
But then a lot of the sports games, like particularly baseball games, PlayStation had the license, but now it doesn't really matter for 90% of the games out there. So I'd probably lean Xbox just because nothing against PlayStation. To me, there's Xbox people and there's PlayStation people, and you fit in whatever you fit in at 12. I feel like your personality just stayed there.
It carries over. I totally agree with you. Personally, for me, David Villanueva, what's going on? For me, it's always been PlayStation. I had my horror story with Xbox, the first Xbox that came out. I pre-ordered it and got it home, plugged it in, hooked everything up, and it was a brick. Didn't work. So I had to work. I was just working. I couldn't get back over to get it return in time. So the store they didn't take it back. They said you got to go through the factory. So shipped it off. Long story short, it took them like 10 months to get me a new Xbox. And by that time, by month 5, I'd gone ahead and purchased a PlayStation, and I was just like, forget you guys. I'm not gonna trip about it.
So are PS5s like still ridiculously hard to come by?
Yeah, for peasants, yeah, I have one.
Dude, it took you like 8 months to get one.
No, man, I actually got mine in February.
Yeah, didn't they come out like the previous
I know
Christmas time?
So I had to get all these apps and I had to get all these alerts set up so that as soon as a PS5 was available, I could see about getting one. And eventually, it just happened. It was like because I start my job at 4:30 in the morning, so I'm up at 4. So I got this alert.
Do you work for an East Coast company?
We're nationwide.
No, but like, do you work East Coast like accounts or time zone or?
We work East. I would work East Coast time zone. Yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad. I'm done early.
Yeah, but like if
and
you're
I have the rest of my day. I mean, I can go back to sleep if I want to.
See, I can't nap, so like I like having the schedule that I do. I feel like Central time zone is just perfect. Like if you just live in Central, you get the best. Like imagine waking up and your football starts at noon instead of 1.
You know,
and you don't have to deal with the replays of the Pacific time. Don't they have like weird playback times for it's not like live or whatever?
Yeah. So like when I was in college, I was at University of Kansas and Central. That was we were Central time zone at that when I was there. And I was still stuck on East Coast time zone. Like right now, I'm still stuck on East Coast time zone in my head. I can't.
See, that's no bueno.
So there'll be times where I'll just get up and it's just I'm on East Coast time zone. Wes, what's happening?
As soon as he messaged, I was like, Gene's gonna call him out. Gene's gonna call him out. Gene's gonna call him out.
No, but that's just pretty much how it's been. I'm on East Coast time zone. So I drink beer at 9 o'clock in the morning with everybody tailgating, and that's just kind of how it is.
Oh man.
I have no shame.
I don't drink coffee, but I'm the only person on my team that doesn't drink coffee. Everyone on my team's a coffee addict. So like I have to wake up at like whenever I start work, like 7:30, 8 o'clock, like
You don't drink
I
like
have to just focus, and I just focus until 6:30. Then all of a sudden my brain turns off, which great for all of you because you get mushy brain for podcast time.
So, do you drink like energy drinks, or you're just naturally?
High quality H2O, my friend.
Oh, look at you, Bobby Boucher.
Just all day. Like it got to the point I have all those really fancy water bottles, but there's just something about once it goes down to room temperature, I don't know. I can just drink like 6 of these in a day.
Man, there you go. So I've got a couple of. I keep these up here. I've got 2 of these, and so I'll fill them up, and then probably I would say maybe an hour and a half later, I'll go down and fill them again. I'll probably fill them like maybe 4 times throughout the day.
That's a lot of people don't drink, especially in the post-COVID world. I mean, I guess we're still not post yet. We're on the outskirts at least. People just didn't get their water for so long, and now they're in the habits of just like working from their home and just not moving.
I know that's crazy. Well, I've got a coworker and she hates water. I was like, "Are you nuts? How do you hate water?"
Interesting. I want to know what she uses the flavor then. Because like there's so many options, but like some of them are just like trash though. Like most of them.
Joshua Cole Allen, what's going on, man? Plus I'm like you. I'll drink it every so often. It has to be a little bit cooler. Like right now, it's hot as balls here, so I'll make tea and I'll put ice in there, and I may drink that every so often. But mostly, it's just like water. It's pretty much my thing. I don't know how we got on the subject here, but just kind of getting back around to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Wait, who?
This
isn't water. What you heard?
That team that won the championship. That team. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, we dat or who dat?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really interesting. I saw an article about Chris Godwin, and they're talking about his contract. Personally, if it happens, it happens. I'm not really stressed about that. I just want the season to get started.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Godwin, why would he want to sign after a down injury? I mean, not even just down, but just like injury riddled. Yeah, we won the Super Bowl, but he didn't have this. Like his breakout season, 2019 with Jameis Winston. Mm-hmm. Everyone got to see what Godwin and his full potential can be, especially when you give him a shitload of targets.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's going to be bounced somewhere in the middle, and I think Schefter and everyone who's reporting on it is throwing out the Kenny Golladay $18 million a year number. If Godwin comes out and puts up, 1,100 yards, 7, 8, 9, 10 TDs, I think he's going to make over 18. So there's no incentive for him to sign.
Yeah,
I don't think the Bucs will go round 2 with the franchise tag. But at the end of the day, though, I mean, I don't think Godwin's going to be what's his face, some Wolf of Wall Street, Leo, and he's gonna be like, I ain't going nowhere.
Exactly. So that's really cool. It's whatever happens. It's going to be exciting. What do you think about Monte Kiffin? Monte Kiffin possibly going into the Ring of Honor?
Well, it's not possibly; it's happening.
I mean, yeah, I should say it is happening. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, have you read Warren Sapp's book?
No. Okay. I didn't know he could write. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. No, sorry, Warren, but you're an asshole to everyone else. I can be an asshole to you.
You know what? He was, but I like him. We were following.
I like him on the field. He's fucking amazing. We were
following each other for a little bit on Twitter, but
you weren't blocked. Apparently, he blocks a lot of Bucs people, I guess.
No, it is what it is. And Plus says he'll get that deal eventually. Now we got all the water comments. Where were all these water comments? Glacier water.
Oh, so what is your go-to water?
Yeah, what is your go-to water?
So for me, I have one of those zero filters. They're expensive as shit, but they last a while. Yeah. And I don't know why, it just tastes different. Like if I drink from a fountain anymore, I just can't. And I've started to become more bougie. I did the Pellegrinos, but I just settled on a Smart Water. It's just if I'm going to buy a bottle.
Man, for us, we have reverse osmosis.
What's that?
Reverse osmosis.
I'm just teasing. I don't remember 11th grade science or biology, whatever the hell it was.
So, before we were going to get bottled water, and you got to put it in the water machine, and you got to take it out, and you got to take the bottle. And then finally we were just out, and I was like, we're doing reverse osmosis because we were remodeling the whole house. We were putting everything in. I was like, okay, we got to do something because I do not like going to get bottles all the time. I'd rather change a filter every few years or whatever. I'd rather deal with that. So that's just been our thing. And it's worked out well for us.
I mean, there's so many access to good, clean, good tasting water these days.
Yeah.
Oh, a Celsius. The Pewter Report, sponsorships are live in this chat.
For real.
I've never had a Celsius though, so I mean, I know,
I didn't know
obviously
it was a
about it.
sponsorship. I guess I'm monumentally naive here.
Well, I feel like they don't have them in North Carolina, and obviously, I don't drink coffee or if you ever want a funny video with the rest of you out there, literally search my name and energy drink on YouTube, and you'll have a joy. That's all I'll say.
We'll see if Joshua was talking about he spoke with Monte Kiffin today. That'd be kind of interesting to hear from you. Joshua, you want to call in 813-358-8154. It'd be interesting to hear from you. So
yeah, he's boots on the floor for Pewter Report now as well.
He is. He's that guy. It'd be kind of cool to kind of hear from him. I haven't talked to him for a while, so.
But in terms of Monty, I'm happy that he will get his moment because if anyone doesn't remember or has seen Monty in a while, he's pretty old up there. Yeah. So I mean, I'm happy he's going to get his moment. I just hope James Wilder gets it before we get rolled around to the Tom Brady.
We're kind of in a weird place because there were a lot of players, not a lot, but there were specific players that meant a lot to this team during the creamsicle years. And, they're not, I know we've got some, you got Selman, Giles. I just feel like Doug Williams, but Wilder should be up on there on that list as well.
I mean, he's probably borderline, especially as, Light, BA, Brady, Evans, maybe Godwin someday. There's going to be a lot of names on the list, but Hardy Nickerson, I was interested in football right when he was pretty much on his way out in Tampa. But I mean, from everything you read and watch from that era, I mean, Hardy Nickerson was needed for this team for so long. So I hope one day he at least gets something. But the thing about the Ring of Honor is, I don't know if you know, or Josh, or if anyone out there knows more specifically, is the Ring of Honor meant to have eventually a list of 50 names, or is it supposed to be 10, 12, keep it on the smaller side?
I'm not sure how that works because I think Tampa is one of the main ones that has been continuously, but New Orleans doesn't have that many. Atlanta doesn't have that. I don't think they have that many as well. Yeah, I think Tampa's the one that really keeps it going. I'll have to ask about that.
Yeah, see, I've never really paid attention. I mean, the first couple ones were just too obvious of people.
So if you could do your top five, your top five Ring of Honor candidates. Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot. Just rattle off. Give me five former Bucs players. And let's make it. You have to have at least two from the creamsicle era and do five.
Are we doing just players because Ring of Honor is?
Oh yeah, well, we could do players. We could do players and coaches.
No GMs.
Yeah, okay, we could throw GMs in there too. But I've kind of changed my mind from Rich McKay. I've jumped off the Rich McKay train. FYI.
Well, I think Leroy, Sapp, Brooks are absolute musts.
Okay, there's three.
It's kind of hard to not put Dungy in there. But Dungy's not even in it right now. Or is he? Is Dungy in?
I thought he was.
Okay, never mind. He is then. Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm gonna put Rondé in before Lynch.
Really?
Fuck it. I'm gonna throw BA in because BA did it without needing a successor. His successor fucked everything up before him.
Isn't it?
I'm going to go BA, Tony, and then John in that order if we're going to do coaches.
Okay, so currently it's Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, Leroy Selman,
Paul Gruber.
Paul Gruber, Jimmy Giles.
Oh, Jimmy Giles is in. Okay, that's good.
Yep, and McKay is in.
Yeah, I'm not going to include him in my list.
You got to. And Selman. Okay.
Light over McKay.
Yeah, I would take Light over McKay.
That's what I'm saying. But Light doesn't deserve the Ring of Honor even yet in my eyes.
I'm talking about John McKay, the coach.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, like I said, I'm off the.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, whatever. You know what I mean.
So Joshua Cole says Leroy Selman, Gruber, Sapp, Brooks, and Rondé.
That's what I mean. Like
it would be hard. It would be hard for me, but and again, I would probably get booed for this, but I've got James Wilder, Doug Williams, Warren Sapp, Rondé Barber, and then players that we would, because the rest of these players are still playing that I would consider. So we just like players that are like not current. So probably my last one, I would probably say Simeon Rice.
Okay.
So those are mine.
See,
because I love James Wilder. I always have. He's just part of Tampa when you think about the Bucs. I mean, you could even talk about Kevin House. I mean, Mark Carrier.
I was going to say Mark Carrier. That's who I was going to say.
Yeah. Look, there's
even work done.
Yeah.
Mike Allstott.
Yeah, there you go. Mike Allstott, you have to put him in there. Work done. I was kind of mad at him because he went to Atlanta. But I got
money, man.
Yeah, it is. I know. It's not my place. I'm just saying.
It's all about the Quan, man. It's all about the Quan.
No, it's not about Quan.
No, Jerry Maguire. It's all about the Quan, man.
No, I'm just messing.
Show me the money.
I know, man. I'm just messing with you. So yeah, there you go. Those are my 5. If we could expand this to 10, then we should. So you got your 5. Okay,
I think Mike Evans has to be in the top 10.
But he's still playing though. We know he's going to go in.
Okay, how many thousands of yards do you think he has over Mark Carrier? Mark Carrier's number 2.
Mark Carrier's number 2. Oh my God, I have to look. I'm going to cheat and look.
He has 3,250 more yards than Mark Carrier has, and about the same amount of seasons. Mike Evans is the face of this franchise. I mean, to me, the equivalent is like John Lynch. Yeah. I mean, he's not the guy. Like, he wasn't a Sapp or a Brooks. Actually, maybe even more equivalent to Rondé. But Mike hasn't had his signature, Rondé-like moment. But, I mean, Mike's drafting set the precedence to what the Light era was.
Yeah, absolutely. That was
he's just too vital.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, what do you do if you don't have Mike Evans on the field? And even with his hamstring history, the issues he's had, he still produced. He has still produced a lot of yards.
Yeah, 1,000 each and every year, if anyone hasn't been counting.
Oh yeah, that's right. He is that guy, isn't he? I forgot. Yeah. So if we're talking current players, let's talk potential now. I hate the P word. Here's that P word out there that you guys know I hate. Who are you putting in there?
Are we talking like under 26, 27-year-olds, or what are you?
We're talking current roster. Let's go back. Let's 2010.
Okay.
2010 forward.
What am I listing?
Who could
top 5?
Give me top 5 that could potentially go into the Ring of Honor.
Levante David, Mike Evans.
Yep. Okay.
Tom Brady.
Would you put Tom Brady in?
Yes. Before you even finish the question, yes. He single-handedly basically turned this team from a 7-win team to a Super Bowl winner. I mean, he's literally the one addition. AB was basically not around. Gronk was a non-factor the majority of the year. And Brady didn't even play that good, but you could tell that there was a leadership. There was the Berkeley Prep OTA days.
Yeah.
It's a different mindset. And everyone's talking about that Jameis Winston video that came up recently about Fitz telling him to like too many rhymes and that one pregame. That just tells you. I mean, I'm not trying to hate Jameis, at least in that particular moment. I mean, he's a third-year guy trying to make a name, and Hard Knocks has cameras in his face. He's going to do something different. But Tom Brady's just cool, calm, collected.
Yeah, he's a consummate professional.
Exactly. I think that's number 3. So we got Levante, Mike, and Tom. This is tough. Because like Doug Martin, if he didn't end so badly, I think would have a conversation.
Right.
I think Shaq Barrett broke the single season lead he beat Warren Sapp and Simeon Rice in terms of sacks in the season.
What about like on the O-line? Would you consider
Ali Marpet if you want to go seniority, but I think Tristan Wirfs is a top 2
based on his body of work, would he be somebody that you would potentially consider? Ali Marpet. Or does he still have
I would. That doesn't mean he's not sexy. That's the thing. Like Quentin Nelson in terms of offensive line is sexy. Like Trent Williams in terms of offensive line is sexy. Old school Tyron Smith, sexy.
Yeah.
Ali Marpet is
I think
amazing.
we do have a caller. Who do we got online with us?
Probably Josh.
Fuck what you heard.
What's happening, man?
KB. Talking about the man, the GOAT, Tom Brady.
Yep, there we go.
Never heard of him. Who is
he? Wrong number.
If they win another Super Bowl, put them all on top.
Yeah.
Let's go. I was doing my best Jameis Winston impersonation there.
Just talking about them crab legs.
Yeah. The rhymes is too many rhymes, man. Too many. I think you went too far with that.
But I'm not a rapper.
You should have stopped at the 8th verse. So.
Oh man, that video came out and I just lost it. I was like, wow. Have one of one defend that. Where's the statistics on that one?
He or she will create that. I'm gonna call one of one an it. That's all I'm gonna say. Everyone knows my opinions on one. Just look on Twitter and you'll find it.
Hey,
statistically, that was the best warm up in all of football. If you compare it to other warm ups.
What about E to W? Does that? I don't know. We're beyond that. You know, it's fun to talk about division rivals, and that's what we're doing is making fun of our division rivals. So that's what I'll do.
Exactly.
So, what was it like talking with Monte Kiffin?
You know, he has a lot of insight, right?
Absolutely.
He's a guy who is the creator of Tampa 2 with Tony Dungy, and you know his defenses were tops in the league for almost the entire time that he was with the Buccaneers. He's gone on to do great things other places, inspired so many defensive coordinators around the league,
and get his son a million jobs.
Humble guy.
You know, it's interesting.
I say that because obviously I know Nelson and the Kiffins recruited Nelson, so I got to see a lot of them over at Berkeley my senior year. And let me tell you, Monty's the nicest guy, but Cliff's gotten a lot of chances. That's all I'm going to say. Just for nepotism. Like, I'm just saying.
But for me, you know, when I look at that was a perfect storm with Monte Kiffin and the player personnel that he had to work with.
And the head coach, too. And the head coach came from that system. He played in that Steelers system.
Right. And so it's just a perfect storm to have everybody collectively come together. And that's kind of what you saw last year with Todd Bowles, with Bruce Arians, just with that defensive unit that they had that just all came together. And that's what you kind of think about is, you know, if you don't have one of those players or a couple of those players, this defense doesn't look the same.
Well, not only that, remember when Tony was fired, everything was put in place to make sure that Monty went nowhere. no matter who that next head coach was, Monty and the defense was staying. That tells you what the Glazers and all the decision makers thought of Monty.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a winningest coach in Buccaneers history. Not head coach, but coach.
The coach.
Yeah.
You know, he's had success. He's had success with, you know, both Dungy, Gruden, and thereafter. So, but he was super humble. He was, you know, very excited, obviously, for the honor. I think he is the only assistant that's in the Ring of Honor. I'm not sure there's any other assistant coaches. It's pretty unheard of. But, you know, his impact on these Tampa Bay Buccaneers teams and the defenses that he created and allowed these players, because he'll deflect and give, and that's what he did today, was deflect, you know, the players play. You know, the old school coaches, you hear Bill Belichick say, you know, they put them in a position, but the players play. So
Absolutely.
it's, you know, it's great. He had some good stories to tell. One of them was about Simeon Rice and how he didn't let him out of the building. So they were recruiting Simeon Rice, and he had
in free agency. You mean correct?
Yeah, this is free
Not
agency.
while he was in with the Bucs. They tried to sign him. Okay.
Yeah, this is when he was in Arizona.
Yeah.
Or he just finished with Arizona.
Gotcha.
Arizona. Yep. So he had a trip booked to go to the Giants the next day. You know, they brought him in the night before, showed him the sunset, brought him to a dinner, kind of, you know, shot the breeze a little bit. The next day they go into the facility, and him and Ron Marinelli go to the room. They're in there for about an hour and a half, he says, and he comes out. He goes, "Cancel my flight. I'm staying here. Tampa's the place I want to be." So that was a cool little story. He also told a story about Mike Tomlin and how they found Mike Tomlin, and that, you know.
Oh, I want to listen to that story.
I would love to hear that one.
So Mike Tomlin, you know, he had read some. Obviously, all these coaches are connected, and someone told him, "Hey, you need to check this guy out, secondary coach." And they had to act fast because Tomlin was also being pursued by Notre Dame. So they have him in there. You know, they bring him in. They're talking. They're talking X's and O's, and he's got a flight to leave to go up to Notre Dame around 2:00 that day. And he's talking to Tony and everything. And I guess he was, you know, they're at the hotel, and Tomlin was doing something. I think he said he was taking a shower, and he told him, he was like, "We can't let him go. We can't let him out of here." And that's exactly what they did. They didn't let him go. They didn't let him out of there. And you know, Mike Tomlin, we saw, you know, what he did there, and obviously his rise up through the ranks as a great Super Bowl winning head coach of the Steelers. So it was a cool story too. A little bit inside, you know, he talked about how every time Sapp would go on offense, he's like, no, you're not. No offense for you. He's like, but Sapp could do it. You know, Sapp was a pretty good tight end, so he knew Sapp would do it. But he was still like, you know, you're putting my best player on offense. If this guy gets hurt, you know. But,
yeah, we're in trouble.
He had some good stories.
Well, that's great. So how are things going for you? Have you any stories out there that you're working on right now you could talk to us about?
Yeah, I'm currently doing a training camp battle series. I've got wide receivers, running backs, and O lineman just came out today. I'll continue that on Friday.
I was going to say, I thought it was every Wednesday because I've read the
it's
past
every other day. So I put it out on Monday. Next one would be Wednesday because we're almost at training camp. So if I did every Wednesday,
crazy,
we'd already be into training camp. So
man, we've been struggling to get there too.
Day, man, it feels like it's taking forever. So
yeah, it's been
I'm excited to get it here. Get here, but that's what I'm doing right now.
So how many pounds of sweat do you think you're going to lose this training camp?
Oh my God.
I hope a lot because I need to lose. I don't know.
Bro, you got to get one of those cool towels. You know,
well, are they going to do a lot indoors? Like, I mean, because fans aren't going to really be able to go to many of these.
Bro, you got to get one of those cool towels.
On season ticket holders. I got
limited for them, right, Josh?
Like a Busch Gardens and a Disney one. Yeah,
it's better than the wide world of sports. Oh my God, my father took me there. Oh my God, I swear, as like a 10-year-old, like I was like, no, get me out of here after like 20 minutes. I couldn't do it. And this is someone who played like baseball like for 12 hours a day. That sun was brutal in Orlando.
That's Florida for you. I mean, we were up at Amalie Arena, and it was crazy. I was gonna wear my jersey. I was gonna wear my Bolts jersey, and I was like, man,
Oh, that's
No.
too heavy, man.
That is
That's
not
just
happening.
a trap. You need to wear towels underneath
I
that
know, it's so
jersey.
crazy because when you walk downtown, everybody had on their Bolts jerseys, and I was like, "No, I'm wearing a t-shirt. I got me a Smack Apparel t-shirt. I'm throwing it on, and I'm good." And that's just kind of how I did it. But
Are you an Office fan, Gene?
Smack Apparel on the news.
say what?
I saw them on the news the other day. They're on
Hey,
Spectrum.
gotta love it. Gotta love it, man. They're killing it over there.
Hell yeah.
Pumping out those shirts.
Yeah. So
Shout out to Smack Apparel.
yeah, definitely. So for you getting ready for camp, I mean, you're all set and you get in there and get your are you gonna be able to what days are you gonna go? Or will you be doing it?
He's gonna be doing it every day. I'm gonna guess.
I'm not sure yet. I have pretty much open availability except for the 10th. My son starts kindergarten, so it's a good day. I don't know how many days
Congratulations, bro.
I'll be
It
in
is
there.
a good day.
That's gonna be exciting right there.
So yeah,
Gotta make it all
daycare off the
perfect.
books, baby.
Gotta make it perfect.
So, other than that, it's all 8 o'clock practices, which is great. Early in the morning, get the sun, before the heat really strikes in. You're done by 11. You can write your stories, get them out there. So it's good. I'm sure I'll be cycling in with the guys, and we'll all have days that we go and whatnot. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Preseason this year, finally get some games.
Yeah, man,
that's to attend to. But
and it's going to help the younger guys that didn't get that opportunity last year to
Especially
have
the two practices.
What'd you say?
Especially with the two practices, BA has the two going on simultaneously.
I love that. That's exposure for your players out there. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, well, there's a lot of good. Obviously this roster is pretty much set from a starter standpoint. The only real battle that we're going to have is going to be between Rojo and Fournette. But it's going to be a lot of these backup guys, that 8th, 9th, that 9th, 10th, lineman spot. That do they keep the 7th receiver, the backup defensive tackle, linebacker, outside linebacker, cornerback, safety? Like those are the spots that we're going to be watching.
And think about
that's going to be
we can
be a lot of fun.
We can go back to 2016, 2017, and we were crying for one running back that could do something. And the fact that you're actually having a legit running back battle and both of these guys are going to be able to contribute for this team is just mind-boggling for me. I can't get past that in the secondary, because the secondary has always been probably, I would say, going back to 2013, the bane of my existence, because they just didn't do anything. But now, I mean, you have a legit secondary that can go out there and help this team win. So, I mean, like for you and your camp battle stories, I mean, what do you have? Are you talking about like our 4th or 5th, or I would say probably say the 5th receiver, wouldn't you?
I'd probably say 6th receiver.
It's more. It's more. Not even 6. It's more. Do they keep the 7th? Is that a possibility?
Exactly.
At this point, because special teams wise, do you keep? Do you?
Jared Darden and all them, yeah.
Just Justin Watson on as a wide receiver or something like that.
Is he the odd man out?
Most of it's going. I think so. Well, it depends too. I mean, do they feel good enough about? Do they feel good enough about Jaden? I'm getting two names.
Darden?
Jalen Mickens or Darden? Yeah.
That's both names I'm trying to say. Jalen, do they feel good with Jalen Darden as a return man? Do they keep Mickens on the roster to be that return guy? Or do they keep Justin Watson, who was the best, on special teams, best player on special teams last year?
The sack artist.
The team in special teams tackles, So yeah, the sack artist. So it's like,
I don't know if you know, he's like the only special teams player with like a sack in like the past like 10 years. It's something crazy. Yeah, like because he got the sack on a fake punt or something, and like no other player has like done that.
That's wild. I didn't even know that. I'm gonna have to go and look now. Now you're forcing me to go look this up now.
I think it was the Panthers game. If you wanna, I don't remember which one, but I think it was against the Panthers.
Yeah. So what else is what other battles are we talking about here? Because we're looking at, you look at the starters and you look at the backups. So it's like, man, what other battles are the camp battles are there? Are these mostly special teams or
Yeah, it's going to be mostly, we're talking, like I said, ninth, 10th lineman. Do they go with 10 linemen? And we're talking about fourth outside linebacker, is, maybe fifth outside linebacker spot. We're talking about fourth inside linebacker, fifth cornerback, fourth safety. Like, it's bottom of the roster guys who are
Yeah.
going to be able to help on special teams,
Depth
but
pieces.
just to round out the roster. So you're replacing Andrew Adams, who left. You're replacing a guy like Ryan Smith, who left. With the outside linebacker, you drafted Joe Tryon. There's Anthony Nelson doing enough to get beat out by a guy like Quentin Bell or Cam Gill. The inside linebacker position too. You have that fourth spot that's open that was kind of rotating last year. So you drafted two guys and then you brought in Joe Jones, who was the special teams leader in tackles over the last 4 seasons with the Broncos. So you got Grant Stewart, KJ Britt, and Joe Jones vying for that fourth spot or fifth to keep two. So it's like there's multiple ways they can build the roster, but really that's what you're looking at. And also the defensive line. I don't think that it's necessarily a lock to say that McClendon. I don't think he's a lock. I don't necessarily think Pat O'Connor, Quill Davis. So you're looking at those guys. Then you got Benning Potawa'e. You've got guys like Jeremiah Ledbetter.
Yeah.
So there's a group of defensive tackles, and who's going to make that spot? Who's going to get that last defensive tackle spot? And you got to remember too, same thing with the offensive line. We're talking about young guys here at the bottom of the roster. Being that 9th, 10th lineman, you're talking about guys who are going to be that 6th, 7th defensive end. Well, once training camp date comes down and people start, now that they're going back to cutting 3 separate cut dates instead of just one big one, you're going to have guys being cut. You're going to have guys who are going to take less, sign in the middle of training camp, to skip some days of training camp. Those positions, you could see someone get signed, especially I think defensive tackle and offensive lineman. If they can find someone who's a, true center to back up, just in case something happens with Ryan Jensen, like they were with AQ Shipley. Well, they can find, a good defensive tackle that will come in.
Geno Atkins, if he wants to come for the vet minimum and get a ring.
Geno Atkins or Gerald McCoy, Gerald McCoy. So,
the only thing about McCoy, though, he just doesn't fit what we do best defensively. That's the only thing, because they don't really have many penetrators in terms of using snap counts to penetrate up a gap. I mean, Vita and Sue just manhandle 4 gaps between them and just push everyone upfield.
Yeah. So
exactly.
I just lost my train of thought. I had a question.
I have a question for Joshua Cole. So with COVID now, subsidizing a little bit and things a little bit more opened up. I know Florida also more than most states. As a reporter and on training camp analyst, what have the policies changed as much this year from last year? I know they went through a lot of changes last year. I mean, even towards like Trevor Sikkema got famous for basically posting videos live at training camp, and now you have to wait till after practice. There's like all these rules now. So have things started opening up for people that are boots on the ground like yourself?
We're still going to have to we're still waiting to figure out all the training camp protocols. How many people are going to be allowed? Is it going to be limited again? Obviously the different tiers. There's some members of the media who still aren't vaccinated versus those who are vaccinated. Still trying to see if there's going to be, I think they're going to relax on testing every day. I'm not sure. I had to get tested today, even though I'm vaccinated before I went into the Monte Kiffin celebration. So, I mean, it still kind of remains to be seen. I know it's crazy. We're 11 days away from the start of camp, and we're still not really sure on the details because they are fluid. And, we saw recently how, I think it was rookie mini camp, how, one day after the CDC decided, that masks were no longer required for vaccinated people, the NFL put out a memo, and then the Buccaneers put out a memo. And if you were vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. I had to wear a mask in the testing trailer, get my test, and then I didn't have to wear a mask because I'm vaccinated inside the auditorium. So I think things are still really fluid. We'll get a better sense, I'm sure, hopefully within the next week, to see what the real protocols will be. But better safe than sorry. Even if it's
well, especially when you're talking to an 81-year-old Monte Kiffin.
Yeah,
protect him at all costs. That's all I'll say.
He is a shrine.
And Tom Moore too, right?
He's around all the players, especially Tom. So let's give Tom Moore his space as well.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. But
well, man, hey,
we'll be in there.
Hey, I wanted to thank you for calling in, man. You are a friend of the show. You're always welcome on at any time, man. I'm happy for you.
Still got to support you guys. You're family,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Your family, ain't nothing changed.
And you all can find Josh on the Pewter Report website, as well as the Pewter. Are you guys the Pewter Nation podcast, or you've gone back to Pewter Report? I know there's been some name back and forths there.
I don't know. I mean,
he works there and he doesn't even know, folks.
And if you guys want autograph T-shirts or anything like that from Joshua Cole Allen, please reach out to me on Twitter, and I'll arrange to get
Allen now. It's changing
Allen. Make it easier on yourself when you sign.
Back to JC. Back to Joshua Cole Allen's a mouthful.
There you go.
JC Allen, we have breaking news on the Buccaneers. So, I want to my story starts here at Bucs Report, so I'll always be supportive.
All right.
There you go.
I'll always be supporting y'all.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for calling in, man. You have a good one.
Absolutely. I'll be catching your shows, and I'll catch you on the Twitter sphere.
All right, man.
My man.
Later.
Peace.
That was Joshua Allen. JC. Oh, wait, I guess we should say JCA.
JC, I know, but
KB.
I'm so used to seeing JCA.
Yeah, I'm good with that, and I'm good with that. I'm sure he is too. Man, great information, man. I'm actually looking forward to that Ring of Honor. It's always cool to see these guys up there, and for what they've done to really help Bucs Nation. That's exciting to when you think about it. And again, we are still going to come up with our thing for Rondé Barber and Simeon Rice. We are going to do that. It's going to happen because the travesty of justice has been, this has been going on for years, and it needs to change. So we've got this covered. Bucs Nation, we got you covered, and we're going to do something, and you will be proud. You hear this? You'll be proud, and you'll be inspired, and you'll be mad that these guys are not in the Ring of Honor. But
the Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame. Excuse me. In saying that, again, I got my Smack Apparel Welcome to Canton Mr. John Lynch t-shirt on from Smack Apparel. Shout out to them. If you get a chance, go out to smackapparel.com. Shout out to you, Robbie, and the rest of your team over there. Again, man,
they're news famous, I guess.
Yeah, they are. We were seeing those back to boat. Back to boat.
back to boat. I mean, I love. Well, okay. Can we talk about Jane Castor for a hot second? How are you going to, make a whatchamacallit, a celebration boat parade on a Monday, like 6 days after you win the cup, and then have that same day be rained out, like essentially where a boat parade never happened?
Yeah, politicians and sports just don't mix, and I just don't like politics.
Didn't they put COVID restrictions though on like the party too? Like only certain boats could like go on the water or something.
What, does a boat have to have a vaccination, or what are you talking about?
Well, no, but like a limited amount of boats. Like
in
the water. Like that's what I mean. I saw something about.
Did you see all the people that were out there for the Super Bowl when the Bucs
won? Cooch?
Exactly. I mean, really,
if you're at 100 yards of Cooch on Monday, I'm sure he said hi to you or came up to you and said something.
Easily. Hey, Johnny Dean, I noticed you're in the chat here.
Will Hodwin.
So Godwin.
Who's he? Is he? No, I know, but Will Hodwin. I'm thinking of the what's Dutch that commercial that they did where they switched the letters for like Deion Sanders or something, and he was like, I forgot what it was.
I remember that.
That's what I was thinking.
So we're doing this thing for Rondé Barber, or KB's doing his thing for Rondé Barber, his for the Hall of Fame, trying to get him in. And we were trying to improve on, what we got. And so we're going to see if maybe you could kind of help KB out here with stats and, different things to help him so that we can present to the Hall of Fame why we believe that these two players, Simeon Rice and Rondé Barber, both belong in the Hall of Fame. I had Simeon Rice covered.
Well, and Johnny Dean, just to answer your question that's on the screen, Godwin has to re-sign before I think it's noon or 6 o'clock tomorrow. If he doesn't, he will be playing on the tag no matter what throughout the rest of the season. So the soonest he could get re-signed would be February or March of next year.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what they're leaning towards anyway. I kind of had to guess.
Well, and he signed the deal right away, so I figured they had the agreement internally between the agents
and you know what I guess what a lot of people don't realize, and this is what I hate about social media sometimes, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know what interactions have happened. And so I just kind of have to take a step back. Sometimes I'll get all involved in it and I'm like, you know what, let me take a step back and let them see what they're going to do and just kind of leave it at that. Oh, okay. I have a group set up to get Simi. Hey, get me involved with that right there, Johnny Dean, because I am all in.
What do you say? Put on the screen.
Oh, okay, let's do this. I think more people need to be involved with this right here. Hold on, let me get this up here. You have a group set up to get Simeon and Rondé into the Hall of Fame.
Can we, pull some Mission Impossible, switch some faces, and make your people become Hall of Fame voters?
There
Just
we go.
Swap them out, lock them in a coat closet for an hour or two, or like 10, because I guess they just sit in a circle and just talk about all their old stories for 5 hours, and then they say, "Oh, by the way, is this person going to be in Hall of Fame?" Oh, okay. Like apparently, Peyton Manning's speech was like, "Hi, I'm presenting for Peyton Manning." Like, bye. Like apparently, for some players, that's literally the speech.
Yeah, because they've already got their minds made up. And what's crazy is, at 2018, I think Simeon Rice was a semifinalist.
Yeah, he was for 1 year, and then just that it was like random, and he hasn't been since.
Yeah, and I don't understand it. And when I talk to the powers that be, I've talked to a couple of them. They're like, "Oh yeah, his time will come." Fuck you, you arrogant prick. Why isn't he in there? That's what I want to know. It's not like his time will come. I didn't ask you if his time was going to come. His time should have been here. Oh, his time will come. Arrogant fucks. But anyway, enough about that. You know how I get wound up about this kind of stuff because it's just ridiculous. KU football program. Oh my God, that is a nightmare right there. That's Les Miles. Jeez Louise. I wonder
they should bring Raheem back
to KU. Was he at KU or no?
Yeah, the Bucs basically stole him from KU, and he was a big reason why we drafted Josh Freeman.
No, that's K-State.
Oh, it is K-State.
Because Ron Prince. I was like, what the hell?
I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. I don't watch college football, but I knew it was Kansas.
Yeah.
I get some points.
Ron Prince. Remember, I had this argument about Josh Freeman not having a good coach, a good head coach since high school, because Ron Prince was the head coach at K-State, and he's like the most horrible head coach in K-State history. They had to dig some guy up and bring him back in out of retirement to save the program because of what Ron Prince did. And so Ron Prince, work with free on natural ability, ended up at well, we know the rest of the story. The rest of the story is history. I'm not.
Yeah, but I have a question for you. If we're going to talk about Kansas, why is Kansas's football team, who doesn't have that much high of expectations, and then there's the Kansas basketball team who has all the high expectations and can't win one? That's all I'm going to say, and I'm going to shut up now. They haven't won since like Mario Chalmers, right? Did he go to Kansas or Kansas State?
Yeah, he went to Kansas.
Okay, thank goodness.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about this off camera, and we'll talk about it off camera. I will, because a lot of that is one and dones, and that's a big part of it, where you have one and dones that came in, and you're trying to build a team around these guys, and then they're like 1 year and they're gone the next year. So we can get it.
Yeah, but now they can make money, so it doesn't really matter even where you go.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter where you go. So it's kind of one of those things. Yeah, Pless is right. It was Kansas State. Aqib Talib was at Kansas. Like,
I'm not going to act like I knew that, because I didn't. I didn't know where Talib went. I just knew he played for the Bucs. I was too young back in the day.
He was. They had a bunch of arch criminals over at Kansas. I mean, the Morris twins, Aqib Talib, Josh Jackson. I can go down the list. There's a bunch of.
You just listed Josh Jackson.
Josh Jackson.
He's a bum.
Yeah, but he was one and done. He was like number 2 in the country to be recruited.
So
But
he wasn't good.
Again, when he was in college, it was a little bit different. That's
Josh Jackson is the O.J. Howard of college football. That's what I'm going to say.
He pretty much is. But he got his way.
Perfect on paper, but that's what I hate about at least if we're going to talk college basketball, you need to teach these kids how to make a 10-foot jump shot and some free throws.
If we're going to talk about see, I'm showing my age, and I'm not trust me, guys, I'm not the get off your my lawn guy. I hate the AAU. The AAU has killed competition for basketball and is just ruined everything. I mean, you look right now, and I'm saying this.
I'm intrigued.
So with AAU, you get a coach. He recruits all these good kids from all over the country to form this super team, right?
Yep. I've been a part of these, so that's why it's fun.
But back in the day, you had one guy, and he's like, I don't like that dude. I don't want him on my team. I want to play against him. And that was the mindset back then. It wasn't, no, don't come on my team. I want to play against you. And these guys played against each other. That's why you had these rivalries. I mean, even going into the early to mid.
Are you saying that older AAU is better than the modern AAU? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and it just evolved into a money-making machine. Because
you know why that started though, right? It was the guy who found Jordan at Nike. And then he put his stamp on AAU teams. He put his stamp on college teams. And there's a great 30 for 30 on it. If any of you out there are listening and want to go watch.
There was something on Netflix about it. But I don't mean to get off the subject of football, but just
this is sports. There's nothing going on in the NFL. We talked about that already. We addressed that. We can give entertainment, Gene.
Yeah, okay.
We're here to entertain.
So we can do that.
Yes.
So you've got all these kids that are good players. They all come together and form this super team. They steamroll over everybody else and they win tournaments and they show out and that kind of thing. But when it comes down to when they face adversity, it's just not the same. The mental toughness is not there. I mean, case in point, and tell me I could be wrong here, but you look at the U.S. basketball team, they're not going to win gold this year. No way.
Oh, I bet money that they do.
Oh, you know what? We could bet a steak dinner on this, bro.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right.
Gold or bust.
Gold or bust. Because they're not going.
The only caveat is if Slovenia wins, because I'll be rooting for Luka more than I will be for the United States. So
I just don't feel like they're fundamentally challenged.
To me, they're trying to get NBA calls. They're trying to get the flops. I'm just going to throw the ball up at the basket. Like where every other team's playing finesse. Like you have to play finesse. Like they need Steph Curry. They need Klay Thompson. They need guys who like KD spaces the floor, but like. If you're not hitting jump shots, like the USA team's screwed.
Yeah, but that's my point. But when you look at these other teams, they're team oriented. You look at women's basketball, they're team oriented. They're like one freaking machine that they're gonna roll over you.
And it's the same thing as soccer too. Like watching the difference between men and women's soccer and basketball. It's a completely different sport, and I honestly prefer the women's, at least at the college and. Maybe not the professional level, but definitely at the college level, because like women know how to pass. They see the floor, like they see the game. Like, they play with fundamentals. Like don't get me wrong, Cristiano Ronaldo is a fantastic player. I respect Messi probably more than I do because he's not like a flopper. But like I don't want to see someone laying on the ground for 5 minutes, or then they're throwing alleys because they're up 30 in basketball, like. Because they don't even care and they're just playing there's no team oriented. It's just like which team's more dominant than the other.
But if you watch the Nigeria game, they were the passes were crisp. They bounce pass. I mean, you don't see bounce passes, and they were just doing the basics. And
they haven't learned the modern NBA. That's the ISO. That's the go-to play for 95% of the teams in the NBA, not named Greg Popovich.
There you go. And him.
Speaking of, he's their coach, isn't he? I didn't even know.
He's on the hot seat right now, too. Yeah, but Plus is right. 6 places, okay.
Oh man.
They don't care anymore. Others want it more. And that's right, man. I'm telling you, these other teams are proud to play for their countries, and they're out there just, they've got the best of the best in their countries, and they want to show it. Look at Australia, that was second, I tell you what, maybe 10 minutes into that game, I was done. I switched it off.
Okay, so I have a question for you. When is the next time you think we're going to have a dream team? Because obviously the last one that we had was 2012. We haven't really had one since. We had, listen to this roster: LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Kobe. We're talking in their primes too.
In their primes too, yeah.
Melo, Kobe, Chris Paul in his prime, Darren Williams, which in his prime
he's a monster,
borderline unguardable. Kevin Durant, even young Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
But Russell Westbrook, Kevin Love, OG, my twin, love you, Kevin. Andre Iguodala,
I know,
randomly in there. And then James Harden before he was really James Harden. Tyson Chandler, who people forget he was a Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year.
It was a beast. I mean, you couldn't go in the middle with that guy out there.
And then a young Anthony Davis straight out of college.
It's crazy that you got that lineup. And now look at the guys you got now. I think Dame $sign is probably the only guy that
it's the only reason why I think the USA will get gold.
Yeah.
Give Dame the game, and I think we're good.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, and hey, we've got a caller on here. Keith, we haven't been ignoring you, bro. We just got wrapped up in this conversation. You still there?
Well, I figured you were doing that long intro with you saying that
Keith, Gene didn't even tell me. I had no clue. We have a chat right here that he could have told me, but he didn't tell me.
I looked down at my phone. I'm like, oh shit, Keith is on.
Well, see, I figured when you dropped the old man get off my lawn thing, that was you going to lead me in on that. And,
I
didn't happen.
I blew it. That's on me.
Hey, I called up because, well, first of all, to show love and support to both of the guys, KB and Gene here. But I got a couple topics I want to throw out to you guys and get your takes on it. I'm sure the people watching in the comment section want to hear it. First of all, evidently Shaq didn't even talk to any other teams before re-signing with the Bucs. That's been out there. I want to hear what you guys
I think his agents did, but I don't think Shaq cared.
Mm-mm.
Well, yeah, I think he knew he was getting paid.
Yeah.
But or is that just complete BS? Because why would he say, "Oh yeah, I was thinking about going to the Cowboys, but never mind." The other thing is, supposedly LaShawn McCoy has several teams interested. Do you believe that or no?
No.
Why? Because he has two rings.
Are these like pro teams? Is this the XFL or is this arena or what? When you say teams, flag football? What are we talking here?
Are we talking the New York Jets?
Well,
do they constitute as a team?
Well, I think knowing LaShawn's history, I would say one of them is the Calgary or the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Maybe.
Yeah. Now, see, that's realistic right there. No, realistically, I mean, if you look at what he did with Kansas City and then what he did you combine that with what he did with Tampa, and that's my answer.
To me, LaShawn McCoy is the perfect. Your running back gets hurt in camp, tears his ACL. We need someone who can, either spell, be a, third, fourth running back that can just, give us yards and just mentor everyone else around him and cost like $800,000. I mean, like LaShawn McCoy, I love him as a person. I think he's a great follow for his social media and his, just the way he talks and things. Like I feel like he gets it more than he did even 10 years ago, and he admits that. But no, I don't believe that. In terms of Shaq, I think he got those faxes, the 72 hours prior to free agency beginning, and his agents would be like, "Hey, Shaq, this is what we got from this place. This is what we got from this place." So he probably just texts Jason. He's like, "Hey, this is the number. Can you do it?" Okay, I'll sign 1 minute after free agency starts.
Then they were just like, "Get it done."
That's my theory.
Yeah, and I agree that I think he wanted to be here all the time. I just thought it was funny that he made it a point to say that he didn't talk to any other teams, which I think, come on, if you have an agent that's worth his salt.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He might not have
did.
talked, but his agent probably did.
Right. But I mean, the agent is literally a representative of you. So, on to the next one and final one, because then I'll leave you guys alone. It appears as though the Philadelphia Eagles are gearing up to take a run.
You wanted to talk about this. We were going to end on this.
Oh, my bad. Well, then, hey.
No, we were ready to talk about this.
No, we keep here, Stare. Just hang around with us for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
When we were looking at this originally, my question was, how does that help? Does that help or hurt the cohesiveness of the Philadelphia Eagles when you're talking about bringing in a Deshaun Watson when you already have a guy that is potentially your starting quarterback? I mean, is it he's not doing good enough, or is it just an opportunity to get a Deshaun Watson in here? I mean, I'm not really sure how to really view it, to be honest, because I would have thought they would have gone with the quarterbacks that they have and just let them battle it out in camp and just kind of go from there.
Yeah, but why would you sign Joe Flacco if you want Deshaun Watson, if you want to trade?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or maybe they think because they said they did make a point of saying once his legal troubles are cleared up, maybe they know his court date won't be till near the end of the season anyway. So they're talking next year.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say, because if you look at the salary cap right now, they have $1.3 million. Deshaun Watson alone has I guess he only has a $10 million cap hit, but you're still looking at getting rid of $9 million. Is that Brandon Graham? Is that Brandon Brooks? Is that making them a better team? No.
Because I can tell you, they're going to go ahead.
I was going to say, and do you think Deshaun Watson makes a huge difference? Not that he's not good or bad, but we are talking about Philadelphia, who seems to pretty much piss every opportunity away one way or the other in free agency or with players. That's my opinion, at least.
Who is their running?
I don't have faith in them.
Yeah, and you got to look at who is their running back. I mean, who is their tight end?
Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert, both pretty good players.
So when you look at this squad collectively, and then you look at Dallas, what Dallas has gone out and done, when you look at what Washington has gone out and done, and when you even look at what New York has gone out and done, I think you're putting Band-Aid on a machete slash or something. I just don't see how you can really how this helps this team. There's a lot of holes in this team. Just based on what I'm saying.
I agree, but I also think there's holes on every single team in the NFC East. I think it makes them competitive, but they're not a Super Bowl caliber team. They're not a team that the Bucs or the Packers or the 49ers, if healthy, the Saints. I think the Saints are still a better team than them after that move, if they were to make it. I think it just makes it fun, but I think it's going to F up their financials so much that they can't. I mean, the Texans are literally experiencing this now just with this contract. What happens when you trade 3 first-round picks and Lane Johnson to get the deal done?
Yeah.
What does your team look like at that point? Is it even worth it?
That's the question right there, because
and that's the thing. We've seen it. We've seen these big trades with multiple first-round picks, and I don't recall it ever really working out great for the team that got the pick.
That's why the Tom Brady thing's so crazy, because you normally can't get a quarterback on the market, either free agency or via trade, without basically ruining your roster in the process.
Right.
Which just further shows the amazing job that Greenberg and Light did this offseason with getting all these guys back. And now, the deadline, quote unquote, for them to get a deal for this year or something for Godwin is tomorrow. I think then he has to stick with the franchise tag money. The fact that the kid Galladay just signed for $18 million a year and he was drafted afterwards, after Godwin was, and doesn't have the stats that Godwin has, tells me that Godwin he's probably looking for what, 18 to 20 million?
Easily.
So can you do that and pay Mike Evans? That's over $35 million in 2 players.
I'm going to keep my
4 years.
Because I was The last time I mentioned Chris Godwin, I was dead ass wrong. True story.
Well, the thing about Godwin is he has no reason to sign a long-term extension right now. I mean, even if Lord willing, he tears his ACL, I hope that doesn't happen. Like, he could probably still make $10-15 million on the free agency market next offseason. If he did absolutely nothing this year. Remember, he played on a broken hand last year. He uncharacteristically had like 5 drops in 2 games, which he hasn't had 5 drops in his entire career. So, I mean, like everything that went wrong for Godwin that could have gone wrong last year did. If he just puts up, like I said earlier in this podcast, 1,000 yards, 7, 8, 9, 10 TDs, I think the Bucs are probably going to find out a way to keep him or do something creative to maybe then help Mike Evans to get that because we all know the money's more of a respect thing than it is like, true value worth. But, he might do a Shaq Barrett. You don't know. I just think that Brady being here, I think automatically gives him visibility, and he's going to make money no matter where he is.
And again, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes either. So they're
that's a good point. That
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gene.
No. I was just going to say we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and again, I have to keep reverting back to that because there have been times where I'm like, oh no, they're not going to do this, but I didn't realize that hey, the agents are talking, and there's conversation going on behind the scenes that we don't know about or you don't hear about on social media, and then something gets done. So I would not doubt that.
Yeah, Kenny brought up a great point, that Brady puts you kind of on Front Street with the exposure. But if the Buccaneers, and I don't want to jinx them, let's say they repeat this year, right? I think the chances of Brady retiring greatly increase, and now you're paying 2 guys over $30 million, and Kyle Trask is the quarterback.
Yep.
So there's a lot of decisions and a lot of little, I call it the bag of tricks that Greenberg and Light have. They're going to have to figure something out because you can't ask Evans to take another restructure. I think he's done it, 2 years in a row? You've already, I know he doesn't really get hurt by it, but like you said, Kenny, it's a respect thing.
Right.
And at some point, we have to show some respect to Mike Evans, who arguably, I think at this point is already a Hall of Famer. At least, in my opinion. I think it's going to be interesting. I would love for them to get, to be able to keep Godwin. I think he's arguably, a top 10 receiver in the league, and to have 2 of those. And if Antonio Brown ever comes around, 3 top 10 receivers, that's crazy.
Yeah, we're spoiled.
But the Buccaneers, what are the Buccaneers looking at? Is $208 million cap next year. I think that means they got about $20 million in cap, but they've got over 20 players on 1-year deals. So even if you don't re-sign all those players, you still have to fill those spots.
Right.
Plus your draft.
So it's
gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a crazy season, obviously, in play, but it's gonna be even crazier for the front office, I think.
Yep, I think they're up for the task.
Could you guys see them trading Godwin before the deadline?
Absolutely not. It's like an MLB team. Like if you're in the hunt, you are never a seller.
No. This is where you close deals to make sure that you can win, and you feel.
But if you come to the conclusion you can't keep Godwin and Evans, and you got someone who, let's say, Tyreek Hill goes down, or a main receiver for a contender goes down, they're going to pony up some draft picks for a Chris Godwin at the trade deadline.
Yeah, but what is a 31st overall draft pick going to net you, even what Chris Godwin is, even though he was a 3rd round pick? Let's say that'd be my question.
But again,
I think it would be more than 1 pick.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know though. DeAndre Hopkins went for a 2nd round pick.
But that guy, you got to consider who's the GM was.
But that's what I mean. Like, we don't know what that value even is at this point. Because I think the wide receiver market, is beyond fucked up right now. To excuse my language, the fact that some of these players that are getting traded for what they are. If that happened in fantasy, we'd all call it collusion. That's all I'm going to say for some of these trades that have gone down for wide receivers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think to be fair with Hopkins, though, wasn't he demanding a trade?
No, that guy, the GM was an idiot.
Well, everyone in Houston was demanding a trade.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I mean. So his value goes down as soon as the player demands a trade. They know the GM's over the barrel. So my point is, there's a lot of decisions the Bucs have to make that just pivot around Chris Godwin and his contract in the next 12 months. and
That's
it's
true.
gonna be interesting.
Yep, I agree.
I think ultimately they figure something out, though, just because Brady can do something with this contract. I mean, Mike Evans can do, like, they have so many players that can do stuff with their contract. I feel like
There's still
him
cap
and
flexibility.
Carlton, I think, are the two players that they're going to say, we're going to keep them. Maybe if we could fit in Alex Kappa, like to solidify the offensive line a little bit. But I feel like Carlton and Chris Godwin are going to be the two that wind up staying through Magic. And then we have to figure out how to replace Jordan Whitehead, possibly Gronk. Can look at some of the free agents off the top of my head.
But isn't this OJ Howard's last year too?
Yes.
Yeah, but OJ Howard, I would say I would trade or just say bye-bye to OJ at this point is what I would probably say personally. I think he's the guy who's gone. You get the comp pick for him and you just be happy with whatever he produces.
And, Plus makes a great point here. You need depth for 17 or more games. I just don't see any moves getting made this year, just because you never know. We saw what happened when Godwin was injured. We saw what happened when Mike Evans was injured. We saw what happened when Scotty Miller. There's just wasn't that continuity on the field. And these are players that, you need players that are going to be able to the next player up. And, you've got quality players sitting here. I think that, if you're making a run towards a Super Bowl, you want the best of the best on the team, especially with an extra game in the season now.
I have a question to both of you. Do you think outside of the first round, Chris Godwin is the best Jason Light's best draft pick? Outside of the first round.
Outside of the first round.
Wasn't Whitehead and Davis second or third rounders?
They were.
Yep. Davis was the second and Whitehead was third or fourth.
Outside of the first round.
I mean, to date, I guess, Godwin has to be the choice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a budding superstar, but
yeah,
those
you're right.
two guys I mentioned, I think the two guys I mentioned, if their trajectory continues the way it has, I think you can make an argument for them. But we know fans and media love offensive players more than defensive players. So, it would have to be Godwin.
Yeah. King Cook had a question. If OJ balls out at an all-pro level this year, do you trade him?
Well, you can't trade him.
Or do you resign?
You ride him to the Super Bowl is what you do.
Do you resign him?
I would still prefer Carlton or Godwin over. Even if OJ is an all-pro, I still think the value that even Chris Godwin and Mike Evans together can do for any quarterback is too valuable than even what OJ. You can find Vance McDonald's who can be serviceable.
Okay.
You can't find Chris Godwin.
Okay, so you got Antoine Winfield Jr.'s out there and Ali Marpet are both out there as light picks outside of the first round.
I'd still take Godwin.
Yeah, Winfield Jr. should be in the discussion, I would imagine. What was he, a third?
He was a second round pick.
Second round pick.
Second. All right, well, he's
so
second.
Is Ali.
Second a premium pick. Yeah, I still consider second round premium pick. Like they should start or contribute.
I think the hardest part about answering this question is we haven't seen their full body of work.
Well, Ali we have, and while I love Ali's fantastic, and we saw his value when he's not in the lineup. I think when we're talking about a post Brady life, if you re-sign Godwin, it's because you're worried about post Brady. And I think having Mike Evans and Godwin, just keep in mind Antonio Brown's probably going to be out of the picture. I think that gives Kyle Trask your future first round pick. You're trading for Aaron Rodgers. You're trading for a good older veteran who's probably the only quarterback who's going to be available. They're going to be attracted to Evans and Godwin, I think, more than they're going to be attracted to Marpet, Winfield, and OJ Howard.
I think, and again, I'm not to disagree, but I am kind of disagreeing here.
Go for it.
What Ali Marpet has done since his rookie season, I mean, considering where he came from and the opportunity, he's maximized the opportunities he's had. He's played in multiple positions. He's played with an inept head coach and still managed to be, and still managed to play at a high level. I would have to say that Ali Marpet, is right up there. I mean, because I don't know that this offensive line looks the same without him over his career.
But my question to you, can you find a competent guard easier than you can find a competent Chris Godwin?
Based on what we've gone through with the offensive line since Lovie Smith blew it up, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I guess for me with Godwin, I see him as a unicorn that has Larry Fitzgerald like potential and can do things that modern offenses need, even more than like Mike Evans. And I get a lot of flack for that. I love Mike. I think Chris Godwin's the more valuable wide receiver going forward. So if you held a gun to my head and told me to choose, I'm going to choose Godwin. I just think his skill set is too unique. You can find fast guys, you can find big guys that are slow, and you can find physical wide receivers. It's really hard to find a 5-tool stud that Chris Godwin is, personally.
So you're saying that you could just drop somebody in on that offensive line and they would pick it up on a consistent basis, like what we've seen from Ali Marpet. I'm not, and again,
no, you can't. I'm not saying any replacement player can do either. I'm saying I think it's easier to find a starting offensive guard at a reasonable price than finding Chris Godwin replacement at a reasonable price.
Okay. You still there? Keith?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I didn't know you threw it to me. Yeah. I'll say this. I think we kind of proved to an extent what Kenny's saying by how Aaron Stenny stepped in the playoffs, and we saw how that went when Kappa went down. I think Chris Godwin's unique. I also think Chris Godwin benefits highly from Mike Evans being on the other side of the field, or playing with him. I'd like to see Chris Godwin have a larger body of work at being the guy or number one or whatever.
Number one, yeah.
But we haven't been afforded that yet, and good. That's good news, because that means Evans was out for a period of time, and we don't want that.
Yeah.
On this current roster, I feel like if we had to choose on an injury, and I'll give Devet for this, but hey, I'm cool. We had to choose on an injury between losing Marpet or Godwin.
Oh, that's easy. That's Marpet. That's Marpet.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah, Marpet wins that battle. I'm not trying to argue that.
Right. Exactly. So, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want Chris Godwin to stay a Buccaneer. I'm just looking at the money down the road and all those contracts that are expiring and the ones that are coming up for the decision making, like the O.J. Howard, and thinking if they have the success this year, does Tom Brady go for number 9 if he wins 8 this year?
And I think I think Brady, it's going to be one of those, if I can't perform the way that I want to perform, then I'll quit. I don't think it comes down to if I win one more title or this. I think it's, can I give my team a chance to win and not be a hindrance? And when that day comes, whether if we win because, like Peyton Manning, you won despite of me, that's when I'm gonna quit. When I'm gonna him up. I think if the Bucs, even if they made the NFC Championship, or let's say they lost first round of the playoffs next year, let's say they lost first round. If Brady wasn't the reason why, I think Brady will want to stay one more year. That's my mentality when I think of Brady.
There you go. I mean, he's been the difference maker. He's been the difference maker. I mean, you cannot argue.
Well, it's even just mentally. It's the smart decisions that even throws. Look at, and when we talk about Mike Evans versus Godwin, I challenge everyone here and Plus and Real Bucs Talk. If you want to use this as inspiration, go for it. You won't get any, blowback from me. I encourage it. Even just look up the highlights last year of Godwin's catches versus Evans' catches. Look at what down it is. And look where or what was done by the receiver to make said catch. Mike Evans is fantastic, and he moves the ball down the field. But you need the guy that moves the chains when Brady's your quarterback. And I think that just ultimately makes him more valuable. And I think people don't realize the amount of spectacular catches that Godwin had. I think I think it got overlooked because of his poor playoff performance and his injury-riddled season.
Okay.
I just challenge you just to
I can't argue that.
look it up. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm just saying watch what Godwin did.
That is definitely I'll get on the all 22 and check that out as because I never really thought about it that way. But yeah, definitely I'll check the down and
Godwin is not a stats guy. He's an eye guy. I think you need to see, like, just watch what he does to defensive backs. And Mike Evans borderline bullies people, but the finesse that Godwin does both in the run and pass game and understands defenses, I think is just it's next level. And that's why when everyone makes the lists, I'm gonna put probably Mike Evans because I think Mike Evans deserved more love the past 5 years than what he's received. But I think it's like Devin White versus Levante David. If you're giving me the choice of what the next 5 years are going to look like, I mean, granted, Levante's with age, but like that's the thing about Devin White is he's got that ceiling and he makes splash. Well, Godwin makes splash, but I mean, Mike Evans is the one who makes the 50-yard downfield touchdown.
And the thing I love about Godwin is he makes plays away from the ball. And
exactly. And we literally had that analogy where we're talking about Clay and Steph.
And that doesn't get talked about a lot. And again, I'm not taking anything away from what Godwin's done. I'm just the O-line is very valuable. I mean, the trenches are very valuable.
Look at the pick plays that Godwin sets Mike Evans up for. Yeah. And like you mentioned earlier, what does Chris Godwin look like if Mike Evans is not there? And we know Mike Evans is a damn good receiver with or without Godwin. I really implore you just to think of what a Brady offense would look like with Mike Evans without Chris Godwin. Because a Jameis Winston and a Tom Brady offense, in terms of not only just stats, but ball placement, scheme developments, it's comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah, it's like a game within the game. Well, guys, I can't believe we've almost gone an hour and a half talking.
Well, that's the thing. I think it's a great subject to talk about because Godwin has the deadline and there's not much going on, but I mean, it's a big decision the Bucs are going to have to make. It's ginormous, right or wrong.
And Michael Pless is actually working on Chris Godwin's game film. So that's going to be key right there. Actually, I'd love to get you. Pless, can you come on next week?
Well, I'll just shout out to everyone. I'm not going to be on next week. So plus, if you want to fill in for me, feel
moving
free.
On to bigger and better things.
Well, no, I'm on vacation. I need to get the F out of Dodge, man. You know how busy and stressed I've been.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. All right. Hey, Keith, any final thoughts?
Love you, baby.
Hey, well, first of all, great job tonight, as always, guys. Everybody watching on Facebook, scroll up to the top of the page. Check out the video QB54.
QB54.
The new game that's going to sweep the nation.
Make you forget about cornhole.
Exactly.
What is this? Can you give a verbal description for me, Keith? I'm sure other viewers have no idea what you're talking about as well.
We have a video up at the top of the page. It shows and explains the whole game. There's also a discount code BUCS Bucs. You'll get 15% off the already 25% discount. Basically, it's a combination. Remember the game you used to fold that paper into a triangle and flick it through the field goal?
Paper football.
Play on the table or in school with kids? Right. It's a combination of that, cornhole, and beer pong. So what you've got is a chair with a goalpost behind it and a hole in the seat. Your goal is to throw the ball from about the same distance as cornhole is and try to get it into the hole. That's a touchdown. And then, of course, if you score a touchdown, you got to kick the ball through the field goal, extra point. The caveat and what makes this a little more entertaining than cornhole is the team that is not throwing at or having its turn stands down by the goal. If the ball hits the upright or the chair and bounces in the air and you catch it before it hits the ground, that's an interception. And then you get a chance to go stand and throw from the same distance into the hole. If you do that, that's a pick six. So it's a cornhole beer pong style game for tailgating and barbecues that is more football than anything. That's about the best I can explain it. The video is at the top of the page. Again, make sure you read the caption to get all the discount information. And I'm sure Gene and we know Ray Kennedy fell in love with it. So look for some videos of us doing it here in the near future on Bucs Report.
Yeah.
I've been watching like people actually playing this while you've been talking, Keith, and I'm afraid, like, I saw this little kid like picking up the ball and running after he picked up the chair. I feel like that's going to cause, like, if I'm running at someone, Keith, I'm not sure if you know, I'm 6'7". Like, I feel like I'm going to kill someone if I play this game.
Why are you running for?
No, because like the kids were like making their own rules from it, but like it looks very cool. Yeah, it's definitely, paper football meets cornhole meets beer pong.
Yeah, it's easier to break down. So
it's easy things if you're tailgating. Like you already have a chair.
Yeah, and
I will football.
Yeah, as soon as I can figure out which game I'm going to be at, I'll definitely have it out there. So look for that.
Yeah,
too.
Gene said he was going to whip it out. So here we go.
Here we
We
go.
need to get this thing on Shark Tank.
And Ruth, no, you
there
won't.
You go.
And just to answer your question, Ruth, no, you won't. And because I am competitive like that, so we'll talk.
I heard Gene is a jump shot. That's all I'll say.
Oh yeah, the jumper's there. I've got video proof. 3-point range,
yeah,
baby.
He also used to be able to dunk, but that was like how many years ago?
Yeah, 5 million years ago. Yeah. Well, guys.
All right, hey man, I appreciate it, man.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you, Bucs Report. Shout out to Joshua Cole-Allen for taking time to hang out with us, and the regulars, Michael Pless. Thank you so much as well. Johnny Dean, King Cook, Bucs Time 12. And we're going to go ahead and get out of here. But again, thank you so much for checking us out. And we're gone. Peace.